Hello, welcome to the KYTL podcast. We have Crouch here today, a fan fave, an icon, one of the most iconic original boots coming into All Stars, I'd say, being rocked out. I don't think anyone else has ever been able to say that in All Stars. So,
has it happened? Period.
Being rocked out? I don't think so.
I think someone in season 1, but they didn't really like.
Oh yeah, it did happen. Yeah, might be.
But
no one in All Stars.
I feel like it wasn't nearly like as impactful as like yours though. Where it's like the whole Sabu versus Tafiti thing when it happened, like it was a big turning point in the game. I feel like everyone was talking about the whole rest of the season.
It was so dramatic. But anyways, what have you been up to? You're in the West Coast now, just so the audience knows. We're all West Coasters.
I live in Los Angeles. It's where I'm from originally. After school, lived on the East Coast for a while, was working for a startup in operations, biz dev. A little over a year ago, moved back to Los Angeles, and I currently work for an agency where I'm an analyst working on sports sponsorship show. So crunching numbers and stuff like that.
Fun.
Crunching numbers.
Less fun than Survivor.
You're in the sport, in all the sports world in LA. It's got to be fun. That
sounds real fun.
It's not all just crunching numbers.
Weren't you at the Hollywood
Bowl? My day today is not going out and just hitting the ball around.
Yeah.
So maybe it sounds sexier than it is, but
yeah.
Wow.
Today.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'll probably catch a little bit of it. I'm not a big LeBron fan, so I'm like a lifelong Lakers fan, but I'm more of a Kobe Lakers fan, and I get ambivalent seeing LeBron win.
It's pretty funny. I mean, I'm sure the rest of LA is like super into it right now, though, right?
Yeah, probably. Say so. Yeah.
So yeah, what's it been like having the finale has now aired? It's been a few weeks. You getting like approached on the street, like Crouch, like I need you to sign my paper, my whatever.
I've never been recognized or approached once.
Not once.
Not once.
Have you, Sam?
Oh yeah.
What? Where?
Once it was like in an elevator in Seattle, a couple times at like bars in Ann Arbor. Once there was like some random work project in like some random ass state, New Jersey. Some guy had like seen me on YouTube.
Oh.
It's very random, but it happens like once every 6 months, like someone will see.
What?
Yeah.
Does your ego get big?
Yeah. So it's like it's like how real celebrities like every day. Like it's like the Survivor Michigan celebrities like once a year, maybe like randomly see somebody.
What do they say to you when they run into you?
It's like, oh, like were you one person from Survivor or Michigan, or you look familiar? Like were you on like whatever something?
What? Are they like? Is there some sort of connection usually, or is it just a complete stranger?
Just complete stranger. Well, one guy I like was working with on a project, and like one of my I was doing a construction type project management, and then that one of the dudes there, and then another time was like a guy here in Seattle, like in an elevator. We're heading up to like the office, and then he had like a Michigan like thing on. So I was like, oh hey, like go blue. And he was like, wait, like you went to Michigan? He was like, you're the guy. You were on Survivor. Like
that's so random. I love that.
Yeah.
Do they kind of approach you and do they say, are you the guy from Survivor, or do they approach you more confidently? Because I feel like if that were me, I'd approach it as, oh, I feel like I know you from somewhere, and I'd ease into it.
Yeah.
It's such a niche reference. And if you're
It's
wrong,
so
it's
niche.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think that anyone's been that like confident with it though. It's like very like sort of like, wait, like you go to Michigan, do you know whatever, like you look familiar from something kind of thing.
So niche.
If you go back to Ann Arbor, Crouch, I'm sure like you're at the peak of your fame here with All Stars just having aired. Maybe you'll see some more people.
Yeah.
Back for game day or something.
Yeah, I know people do stuff generally where they go back and they see all the new heads from the new gen seasons, and I've yet to do that. So I don't know anyone
Yeah,
from
same.
any of the newer stuff. If they did a reunion on a game day, I'd be there. But
Yeah.
if it's not a game day, I'm not there.
Yeah.
It's a long flight. It's kind of
It's true.
It's not
exciting.
too bad.
Especially from the West Coast. I hate that.
You're making it sound like you're not on the West Coast. Like it's very relatable for you.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I agree. From the West Coast, it's a pain in the ass to fly back to Michigan. It takes forever.
Oh, well, we have a lot of audience questions today. There's one
do it.
particular person who has roasted Cooper and Sam. Like the questions are savage, and I think they have one for you as well that we'll eventually
Okay.
get into.
Yeah, you
I'm
can
game.
tell who that person is because like every question is like a paragraph that's mostly just like a rant with like a little question somewhere buried.
It's mostly just like insults with like a question in it. Cooper
Insults
got the
to
worst
me?
of it. No,
He did.
Cooper got like 5 questions worth of savagery.
do people agree he blew it?
They're
People
basically
agree. Yeah.
Cooper and I still disagree a little bit on this to this day. He seems to think he played everything correctly, and I totally disagree because you see him say earlier in the season, "Don't tell anyone about your idols," and then proceeds to bluff with his idol that he actually has. When has bluffing with a real idol ever worked in the history of Survivor? Ever? I can't name one time, but go on.
No, I mean actually it's a good segue. Like what's like the main point of disagreement between you and Cooper to where you think that he like misplayed it?
Cooper thinks that telling everyone about his idol was still the right play, and I disagree. That's it. Because I think people have a tendency in the game to spotlight themselves, and I think Cooper's perception was, "Oh, everyone knows I have the idol because I got the clue right." Nobody knew he got the clue right still. Like no one knew. I think he just perceived, "Oh, everyone knows I have it. I might as well tell everyone." But
yeah,
I didn't really. I thought everyone knew he had it. Oh, that's interesting.
Well,
yeah, the little Easter egg too is I think the right answer was either 106 or 107. I forget which one it was. I might have it flipped, but whatever the opposite one of it being right was what I had too.
Oh.
So there's also there's a universe. There's a universe where everything plays out as it plays out, with me having an idol for myself, and then everything playing out the exact same way anyway. I think
that's so true.
Like the universe where that happens.
That's funny.
That's great.
No,
I mean, I feel like that week I remember now that like I feel like I assumed that Cooper had it because he spent a super long time at the voting booth, and it was kind of the assumption like Cooper probably got it, and then he told AJ that he had the idol, and claims like, "Oh, I knew that AJ would tell everybody else, and that's why I told him I had the idol," which he did then do. But when AJ told me about it, he's like, "Oh, like Cooper made me swear, like on my life, swear on my boyfriend, swear on everything, not to tell anyone that I know that he has the idol. But by the way, he has the idol." And then that's how it went to everybody and dispersed everybody else. But it was kind of like, okay, this confirms what we already thought anyways. Like it didn't really change that much.
Yeah, there's like a weird meta of if that's what they think, then I should do this.
Yeah.
Like I said that you said, what's the Princess Bride scene?
Yeah.
I know that you know that you know that I know. Where it's like, if everyone knows I have an idol, they'll think I'll play it for myself. And then my next best move is to play it for Andrew. And then everyone else should, if that's true, should then vote for Bailey. There's a whole meta.
I got logic. That's the thing. I feel like it didn't. It's hard to make it come across on screen, but I feel like we were going like 10 levels deep on these assumptions of like faking each other out on different things and like fake stories that you would go so deep into, like especially around maybe like final 7, final 6, final 5. Like it was actually ridiculous. Like I was confusing myself. Like I'm watching it back, I was like getting confused watching it sometimes.
So you definitely
those episodes were really difficult to edit also.
Yeah.
I remember him saying that.
Oh, definitely.
Wait,
think.
so you definitely would not have voted for Cooper then, right? At the end, is that what you're saying?
If Cooper got there,
Yeah, because Cooper was saying that he
um,
doesn't think there's any universe where you vote for him.
he said that.
Yeah.
That's probably true. And it's not. The reason I wouldn't vote for Cooper is the same reason the reason I wouldn't vote for Cooper is I think you can only be wrong so many times in a row and get to the end and not be a GOAT. And like every situation where Cooper gets there, just the way that things played out, him and I were both wrong. I think like 4 or 5 consecutive votes were on the wrong side of votes every single time. And you put yourself next to literally anybody that's on the right side of those votes. And you look at the two next to each other, you go, how do you vote for Cooper? So it's not like, no disrespect. I kind of feel the same way about my game in some respects, but like I probably don't vote for him, especially if it's, I don't know. You'd have to have a really good final tribal council.
Yeah. He's basically saying like if Leia is there, like you're probably just going to vote for Leia.
Oh yeah.
I was saying if it's me, Cooper, Bree, I don't see you voting for me in that scenario. Maybe you did.
I don't know about that because I think I would because I don't know that I'd vote for Bree. It'd be hard for me to vote for Cooper. I think you might get my default vote on that.
By default.
Yeah, I think you would get my default vote.
I mean, in this case, Bree would have just voted off Leia, though. Like, do you think that Bree making a move would have been enough to convince you, like, is there any way Bree could have won your vote near the end?
I don't know. And the reason why is I think she gets I don't know if there's a scenario where she gets my vote because I think the situations where she wins the game are against me and Cooper in the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a situation where she gets my vote, but it doesn't mean I don't think she could have won.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Like, I think if you go in with Bree voting out you and Leia consecutively against me and Cooper, I don't know who wins. I have no idea.
I know. I thought that even though, like, I'm thinking about the case where, like, Bree seemed to think after you went home and she kind of, like, basically messed up by not voting for Leia, that she had no shot. And whereas, like, Cooper's saying, like, no, you can vote off Leia here and go with, like, me and Sam and you still have a chance to win. Like, do you think that she maybe still would have had a chance or is kind of too little too late?
I don't know because I'm trying to think of whose vote she gets. She gets AJ's probably, right? She gets Megan still probably.
Oh, definitely gets Megan, yeah.
So that means she need to pick up how many more votes? There's 10 on the jury?
Yeah, she probably needs at least like 4.
She needs it. Well, yeah, I was going to say you need 4 for a plurality for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know where the other 2 votes come from. Not sure.
Yeah. I mean, how did that feel? Because I agree with you that like her path basically was like at Final 5, voting with you and Cooper. Like, how did it like feel to see that and then like see, what ended up ultimately happening is like you getting voted off instead.
It's super. That one was probably a little tough to watch just because like it didn't feel like at the time I was that close. It felt like things were set in stone. And I was like, oh, damn, I'm going home. The argument itself that you guys had planned out felt real and had very unintended consequences. And because what happens typically in the Final 5 is everyone knew there's no idols left in the game. You can't use anything. There's no reason to lie anymore if you're going to be voting. Yeah. Cooper and I hit up Bree before Tribal and we had texted her, like, what is your decision? Got no answer. So I thought I'm like, oh, Cooper's going home, right? Like, obviously. And then I was like, oh, maybe that's not what's happening. I might be in trouble. So I got to try and make a move to convince Bree and Leia to go back and keep things the same. Because you see me in the scene, I ask Bree, I go, are you writing my name down? She goes, like, I don't know. Yeah. That's not a particularly confident answer. What I wish I had done, and I could go back about regrets and whatnot all day. But you see AJ earlier in the season go and just peel Megan off to the side.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have crossed my mind at the time. I wish I had done that and just been like, where are you voting?
Yeah.
With Bree, I think that was probably, as far as mistakes go, I think that was the only mistake that I truly say, like, I made a big mistake there. Because and this is just my perspective, I don't think she was ever writing down Leia's name, because if she was, she would have said something. And then you see her go through the logic step too earlier of, oh wait, everything should have been the same anyways. I should have kept my vote.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't make sense. So that it is what it is. Yeah,
no, I thought the same thing as you were saying, is like, if she truly wanted Leia out and just didn't know where you were voting, why not just say, like, by the way, Cooper, Andrew, like, completely ignore Sam and Leia. Like, they're just like, make this all fake. Like, just forget about it. Like, we're all writing Leia at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyways, who knows?
A part of me wonders if maybe she just like didn't want, it was like hard for her to do. So she wanted it to be a blind side. Like, didn't want to face Leia. Maybe she didn't want to like, maybe that was part of it, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think also just there's this level of, you don't want to have everyone know what you're doing, even if it doesn't matter. Like, you get this weird feeling where you go, I don't want them to know exactly what I'm thinking, especially because her whole game the entire time was to just not tell anyone what she was thinking. Like, that was her game, is just be well liked, get to the end, and end up with the right combo of people where she could win. That was her strategy.
Yeah.
I
want to ask you this because this is like a common theme in some of the audience questions for you. Okay. Somebody says, if it is able to be parsed, how much of the arrogance that you portrayed is in good humor and how much of it is genuine confidence, parentheses, and sometimes delusion? And we had a couple of guys, like Kevin claims he's like kind of playing up a character in Survivor Michigan. Cooper is like, I'm a completely different person when I play. Like, how do you think you're like the same person when you play, or like, I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
It's a good question. I'll start with this, because I think part of it, where you see these scenes of me telling people I'm going to be there at the end, I mean, at least part of it, I don't know what percentage of it was at some level was strategy. And the reason why I say that is, you're in this minority. Everyone's been like, we're going to vote you out. And you see it kind of work a little bit, where people go, why is he so cocky? He must know something we don't. And that was what I was trying to induce, of like everyone being uncomfortable. So that was part of it. And it kind of works, but not how I intended to, because then everyone just jumps to, oh, Cooper must be telling him stuff, which is what was happening. But so I think at some level of strategy, you're kind of effing around on cameras and you're having fun. So like, when you have someone behind the camera, like when Ian was filming me, everything gets ratcheted up by 1,000 because I'm messing with him a little bit. So there's part of that. And then the other part is, like I want to win. I want to be there. I want to have fun. So it's probably a combination of all three.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I'm definitely more dramatized, I feel like, when I have a camera pointed at me. Because like, you don't want to be boring, you know? It's like, I don't think I'm like being fake, but it's more so you're putting on like an exaggerated version of yourself. That's how I feel personally.
It's reality TV, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you're having fun. It's not like it's not real life, you know?
I feel like you do it too, Sam.
Yeah.
I feel like your confessionals are kind of exaggerated of you too.
Oh, yeah. I was just out there just goofing around, having fun. Mm-hmm. I wasn't actually going to, a hit list where I'm going to kill all these people in the game. You're just not going to, you know what I mean? It's like, not that serious.
You don't do that unless you're doing it for the camera, because there's an element of, if there's no camera and you're playing, you're not writing down, okay, here's my hit list, and these are the people I need out.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Same with like the odds with Crouch, even though I guess it probably is going on in your head, like it's 10% chance of this, and you draw rocks and it goes odds reduced from these odds to these odds, and the odds of me losing are 0.
Yeah, it's super easy to get caught in that trap of like you can play a full game in your head if you really wanted to, and you go, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
You guys just did
That's
all this
funny.
thinking for no reason.
Yeah.
There's so many unknown factors at the end of the day.
What?
So at the end of the day, there's just so many unknown factors that like could try to think about the most optimal moves and the odds of different things happening, but there's also just so much unpredictability.
Yeah. I mean, I also think you see it with everyone's confessionals where there's some kernel of narcissism in the sense that you hear people's game from their perspective and all they think about is from their perspective. And like the people that are good at this game that like really truly dominate are people that can just lie because they know why would this make sense, and they think about the game from everyone else's perspective, which is difficult.
Yeah.
But like you see people when they talk, it's a lot of eyes when you're talking in your confessionals because that's how they perceive the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one of the moments that really stuck out to me when I was watching was, I think, Final 7, when basically like, you were able to kind of step out of your own shoes and completely clock what like my side's plan essentially was like, all right, like AJ and Bree are going to go the other side and both pretend to flip. And then they'll think that they don't need to play an idol because they have 2 different options of flips. And you're like, oh, like obviously like this is a coordinated plan. They're sending people over like, so we should still play an idol. Like you're trying to fake us out. Like I feel like because you're thinking about the perspective, like what are the other people trying to do versus just like kind of reacting to your own point of view.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's weird because like we clock it one time and then we just miss it the next 2.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't give me too much credit.
You can't catch. It's impossible to predict like everything, obviously, but like,
Yeah. I really like this question, so I'm going to ask it. Someone says, you were my winner pick and easily in my top 3 favorite people to watch this season.
Oh,
Let's hear your final tribal council pitch if you made it all the way.
Oh man, I have a Google Doc somewhere here.
Oh really?
One of my outro is me reading part of my final tribal speech, I think.
Oh shit.
But I don't remember exactly what it was. I remember part of it was, I remember 2 parts about it. Number 1, I think I don't want to be wrong, but it was maybe 12 total votes that got put on me the whole season. So I think part of my pitch was I had done some of the research around what Survivor players have gotten to Final Tribal Council with 12 votes. And the answer was not a lot.
Yeah.
So I was going to break that down and just be like, by show of hands, who voted for me? The answer was everyone except Megan, Kevin, and Cooper had tried to vote me out and written my name down at some point. So everyone else in the room had tried to vote me out. I was like, Leia told me that I faced multiple times that she was voting me out, and then I just kept not getting voted out. Because that was realistically my game. It was like, if I got there, everyone was going to be like, how did he get there?
I feel like that's kind of what Nick pitched in season 2, though, a little bit. Right?
I don't even remember season 2. So
he was always getting his name thrown around. And one of the counter arguments for his game was like, people thought it was like it wasn't necessarily his doing that he didn't go home. Mm-hmm. It was other people.
Yeah, that was going to be the obstacle. I was inevitably going to run into this at Final Tribal Council just because everyone's going to say Cooper carried you through the mid game, which is completely true. And so if I was next to Cooper, I was going to have to address that at some level to try and win and get votes. Who knows how good of a job I would have done. You never know if a jury member is going to torch you or not.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. If I was able to address that question, there's no doubt in my mind I had a good chance to win.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that would have been a good visual, honestly. Like if you were planning on being like, all right, raise your hand if you try to get rid of me. Like people are like, raise their hand, like look around, like, yeah, like all of you tried to do that. Like I'm sitting right here. Because the thing with Nick is he didn't frame it that way. He may have been like, oh, like I had faced some obstacle, people want me out, but I'm here. Like you standing up there being like, who tried to vote for me? Yeah, that's right. I got 12 votes. I'm still right here. Like the whole jury tried to get rid of me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. That was the game plan anyways, but who knows? Because at least going into it, I felt like I had, I don't think the show, the edit really captures this fully, but I thought I had good jury management.
Oh,
I
yeah.
felt like there were a couple people I had locked up votes wise, and I only really needed to win a couple of swing votes.
Oh, that's definitely, I mean, like 1,000,000% the sole reason that like deciding factor on Final Five was just like none of us can beat Andrew in the end. Like we need to vote him out because we cannot beat him in the end. Like that is what ultimately, like at least for me and Leia, that's why we voted for you. Bree, like I don't really know like what her thing was, but like that's like why we voted for you instead of Cooper. It's because we're like I felt like Cooper, like you were just a bigger jury threat.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was people didn't want Cooper to win.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Why do you think that is? Because we were talking about this with Cooper, and I'm kind of confused about that.
I think it has to do with the fact that it's like a meme. You have his roommates joking about it all the time.
Yeah.
You cannot let Cooper win, and if you say it enough times, it just becomes true.
Sure.
Yeah,
no, I agree. Also, it's just kind of like, you know how if you're playing like board games or play a game against like any group of people, you know, like the person that is like always wins. And it's just like they win so much that it's annoying. Like I feel like that's like Cooper is like that friend in the friend group that just like wins enough of those games where it's just like everyone almost conspires to make sure they don't win at a certain point. Like just that kind of thing. Like, okay, like this kid cannot keep winning. Like it's like
it was definitely partially the makeup of the jury too, because you have some characters like Lucy and Kevin. You think Lucy and Kevin are gonna let Cooper win? There's no way.
Yeah, no.
Is it more so like they would feel dumb if they let Cooper win type deal? I feel like.
I mean, Lucy
maybe.
Yeah, Lucy also like. I mean, they had beef in the game. She was like pissed.
Yeah.
So, Sam, let me ask you this, because I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but why did you feel like that you had to vote me out over Cooper? Like, what was it because of you felt like you had a good read in the jury, or was it some other reason?
No, I felt like it was basically I felt like my best chance was to get rid of both you and Cooper, but I was like kind of planning for a worst case scenario where like whoever we leave in the game at Final Four wins final immunity. Who could I beat at the end? And I felt like
did it have anything to do with the challenge also? Like if the Cooper hadn't set up the whole challenge thing, is that factoring in?
That decision, that stuff was made after like we had decided who to vote off, like after I knew I wanted to vote you off, then I was like, okay, now how can I like play this to my advantage so Cooper thinks that I saved him? Like that kind of like it didn't factor into the decision of who to vote out, more so like the deal was like, okay, now that I've decided to save Cooper, now that we decided to like, you know, keep Cooper in the game, how can I make it seem like I saved him instead of like it just being the plan all along? Because I just felt like in the case that like Cooper won immunity, I could beat him in the final tribal. But in the case that you won final immunity, I probably couldn't. And that's just the way that I saw it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It was funny because when that was going down, I go, Cooper's in a Ross class with Gabby. There's no way he'd try that, right?
No, I knew that was.
Do I need to clarify that that's the Ross class? I don't need to. There's no. He knows that I know that Gabby's in his class. There's no way he would try that on it, and then it worked.
To an extent, I did know that it was.
I know you knew, but
the rest, yeah, no, that's. He did get away with it though, without getting like publicly called out for it.
Totally did, completely.
Yeah. You're ridiculous. Photoshop's like the thing, makes the fake screenshots. It's crazy.
There was a really brief moment in the finale where the group me comes up and it's, hey guys, I need to do something for Survivor, and then the group me start flying in. And at the very, very beginning of that edit, it looks like a real group me where it's not like his friends are in there responding.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this brief like 5-second period where I was like, I'm going to kill Gabby if she was in on this.
That was funny. Yeah. That's because it looks like she was in on it the whole time, like in the initial thing.
Yeah. Well, I had lost footage of her and I after the challenge, and so she was not happy that she didn't get her like confessional or whatever after 3 years.
That's man, she got robbed of her. But did you find the footage? Does it still exist?
I can't find it.
Damn.
It's not consequential at all whatsoever, but it would have made it. But yeah, so and then I text her during the film, like, you got another shout out. You're in it again.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, well, how did that feel? Winning immunity the final light with Gabby and getting a second necklace. It's a big moment.
Yeah, I should have played that better overall. Just mistakes.
I mean, how would you have played that differently?
I had considered using my idol that week and just closing the closing it out, because I felt like that would have been a good way to get numbers advantage. I would have been in such good shape if I had just made it a solid deal and protected both Megan and Cooper that week. I would have been in such good shape. If you put me in the game and I vote out Leia there, me, Cooper, Megan, Bailey wants you out. Megan wants Bailey out. Bailey wants Megan out. I'm in such a good spot.
That's true. Yeah, it would have been a good, because Bailey, I feel like that's one of the things that I never really realized throughout the game until like watching it, was like how tight you and Bailey were. Like,
yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't go nowhere because like she basically.
No, I said it came out of nowhere.
Oh, it came out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It was just like, it seemed like you guys were always kind of like unwilling to vote for each other, but it was still more of a low key type like alliance throughout the game.
Yeah. I think if things kind of like bounce our way a couple of times, there's a good chance that her and I are sitting next to each other at FTC. I mean, it was I don't know, it was just kind of weird. It's like one of those, Bailey and I we don't talk that often now. I mean, we still see each other at some of the Survivor things and chat occasionally. But I don't think I knew who she was before the season started. And it was like one of those kind of weird things where we didn't work together for at least a good middle section of the season. Then at some level just didn't vote for each other and wanted to get to the end with each other. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because she voted for you at the final 9, and her whole that whole blow up was like because she thought you were going to go home instead of Emily. And then like the week after that, like you two were like super tight.
Yeah, that was weird. I was very forgiving, I guess.
I guess she didn't really want to vote. I guess she was more so mad at like Cooper and whatever for lying than she was at like, because I don't think she really wanted you to get voted off anyways. From what I remember that week, she like definitely preferred that Megan went home, and like the group just kind of decided it would be you, even though like we weren't going to vote for you.
Yeah, I mean, my recollection also was none of that blew back on me because it was either me or someone else. So no matter what I did, I was going to skate away with no matter what.
Yeah. That makes sense because Cooper is the one that betrayed her versus you're just like staying alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that ends up being an issue, though, I feel like later in the game, because you had Bailey wants you out, Cooper wants Leia out, and they just can't get on the same page. Because that was the only thing that happened that was just like we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
because everyone wanted you in the game, because we knew that the longer you stayed in the game, the more Bailey was going to want you out, which means we had to do less work.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how it gets to a point where it's like, I want to keep this person in that I don't really want to work with just because it'll keep somebody else, like, it'll keep like conflict over me and Baby, like Cooper and Leia. It's kind of the same thing.
Sultan of Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to ask the question, Sam?
Oh, like the long one?
The long one?
Yeah.
It.
All right. This is a little long question rant from this person. Andrew, Why all the arrogance? It's not attractive, I promise. I personally am also glad you didn't make it to the end because you probably would have won, and that would have been very unsatisfying due to how flawed your game really was. I mean, first of all, you pretty much relied on Cooper, and he was carrying you up until the final 8. Meanwhile, you were so arrogant in the confessionals as well as shitting on other people's games like Kevin and Adam. Meanwhile, by that point, you pretty much accomplished nothing other than being someone's backpack for 70% of the game. At final 8, you leave Megan out of the vote, arguably your only true and loyal ally. At 7, you did your thing and finally showing up as a true game player. But then at 6 and 5, they bamboozle the fuck out of you like, holy shit, Leia is so good at this game. So my question to you is, how badly did you want to punch Brady when he was trying to force the vote at final 5? And what the fuck is up with that rocking chair dildo?
Okay, I feel like it started savage and then it ended like not that savage.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. I'll try and address as many questions as I can.
Yeah.
The one that sticks out to me is Megan, my only ally. I feel like the only confessionals we saw were of her saying, I don't really want to work with Andrew that much, but I kind of have to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's – I don't know about that. I question that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? I totally did get carried by Cooper. I wouldn't say through the entire game to 8. I'd say pre-merge I was largely – even though I started in the same tribe as Cooper, I was largely on my own. Like I was on the right side of votes, all that stuff. When the Jesse vote, when we decided to do that, Cooper had no idea that happened. I got most of the blowback for that. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that's entirely true. I definitely would agree, though, from the merge onward to 8, 100% carry job from Cooper, 100%. But you have to convince people to carry you. They don't just carry you because you have to make them think it's good for them to carry you, and I did that. So chalk that up however you want to chalk it up.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else was there? 6 and 5, 7, 6, 5, 100% agree. Got bamboozled. 7. The thing that was really frustrating is I have an idol in my pocket at 7 with 2 immunity necklaces. Cooper finds an idol and also had 1 immunity one of those weeks also.
Oh, yeah.
And we still are on the wrong side of votes. So, yeah, 100% got outplayed. Which is why I didn't win. Because the only reason this person shit-talking my game is because I didn't get to the end. If I had gone 6 and 5 and gotten it right, the entire question falls apart.
Yeah.
So the question is basically, you suck because you lost and made mistakes. Yeah, I made mistakes, 100%.
And they also asked you about how badly did you want to punch Brady when he was trying to force the vote at Final 5, and what's up with the rocking chair dildo?
Let's see. I'll start with Brady. I believe the precedent in Survivor is that if people say they're not ready to vote, you let it play out. That's the precedent on CBS. It's been the precedent in Survivor Michigan. And he did not do a good job controlling that tribal council. And I was trying to figure out what was going on because I thought everyone was going to walk up to the voting booth and write my name down. I was like, if I can stop this, I'm going to try and stop this. So did I want to punch Brady? No. Do I think Brady did a bad job handling that situation? Absolutely. Do I blame Brady for me going home? No. I should have just steamrolled him and gone to Bree individually and figured it out. My mistake.
Yeah.
So do I want to punch him? No. And then the rocking chair. I'll leave that one to a mystery. There's a backstory. There's a backstory to it. I promise. But I'll leave that. I'll leave that to mystery for the viewers.
I feel like the fact that it was blurred made it even more obvious.
That's true.
Well,
That's funny.
Yeah. You know what's really funny too is that confessional takes place that takes place in Cooper's house.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I don't have a
Coopers.
rocking chair in my house.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Plot twist.
You know what happened? You know what happened there is I was talking to Ian, either at my house or his, and he goes, "I'm like, dude, I'm gonna win. It's gonna happen." whether they like it or not, it's going to happen. I've never lost in my life. And he goes, wait, what'd you just say? Hold on 1 second. Let me get my camera and get over here so I can get this as a professional. That's what I should have known.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Great.
Ian loves to make a fool of us.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
really,
also, I felt like I was filming a lot more than I was. And I look back in my Google folder. I didn't film that much. I have filmed a lot of conversations, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, they're also like, I didn't realize all the antics. I was like learning new stuff as I was watching the season. The pre-merge is wild.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy.
There's some stuff I vaguely knew about. Now I see it back. Either it left my consciousness, or I just didn't know about it. Hysterical.
Yeah.
Like I remember when everyone heard that Kevin and Jackson had traded fake advantages
Oh,
/
yeah.
goals.
That was so ridiculous.
That mean.
The first thing I
"Do you
said
want this?" He's
was,
like, "Oh,
I
yeah."
would kill to see that footage.
Yeah. Can't believe that happens. And they both thought they like pulled one over on the other.
Yeah, they were like, they both thought they did something. They
Yeah.
thought they ate.
They're both
That's
like,
so
what
funny.
more?
I love them.
I love the one where you like run into Jackson. I never had seen this where you ran into Jackson in like the middle of the lockpot or something. You're like, oh, like, or no, yeah. He's just like, oh, like, what do you got there? What's going on with this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you ended up telling Erin about, and she found like a fake idol that Jackson had planted. Like, did that whole thing.
I learned about that. I didn't know about that. So that was funny. I was like watching that loop. I go, oh, I started that by accident. Yeah, it was fun. Because I was like, it's Saturday night. Nobody's going to be at the library.
Jackson.
Right?
Right. So you think
Definitely not.
Jackson's busy hiding idols. This is his full-time job. He's got to hide 20 of them.
Yeah, I think fake idols get underutilized in Survivor. Like, I don't know. I feel like they should have got. I kind of hate it from a production standpoint. I think the newer Survivors are very difficult to follow because everyone thinks they're shicey and has a fake idol out there. It's impossible to follow. So I get it why it gets either banned in some seasons or people don't use them. It's just not fun to watch. But like I think they get totally underutilized when you have unlimited number of chances to fake people out.
Did you hear that, like, on actual Survivor, they started making the real idols, like, kind of crafty looking because they wanted people to make fake idols and kind of, like, act like they were real. Because they used to be legit.
I have lots of issues with the new Survivor, and that's one of them.
I mean,
I think it's getting unbearable to watch, just to be honest with you.
It's not what it used to be. I mean, fake idols, I mean, you planted the one that Emily B found, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was like I didn't even know who had it. I feel bad for her because she finds it, gets voted out, and thinks for weeks she just got voted out with an idol in her pocket because no one told her.
That's brutal. How did you find that idol? Did you like buy it off of Amazon or like it was like a little turtle thing, right?
Ooh, yeah. So I still have the 2 idol necklaces I bought from season 3 when I had fake idols and didn't get to use them. So I have they're turtles. I had 3 of them. One of them I ended up giving to production for a season. I think it's in season 4 somewhere, but it's painted. So I think that, and I have 2 that still hang in my room that I have. But that one, I was coming to school and I just said, I'll take this. I had it in my room already. So I took it. I was like, oh, this would be funny. I don't remember where I got it from though. It might have been from a vacation, one of those trinket shops, maybe.
Oh yeah.
That's what I want to say, but I'm not sure.
It's funny. That was like a big part of like Emily's storyline the whole season was like this like turtle idol she had.
Yeah,
Also,
it's
guys,
unintended consequences too. Because the only reason she wouldn't make a move is because she thought she had this idol. And I was like, hey, can you make a move? She goes, no. And
Y'all, I gotta
goodbye,
drop.
Sarah.
That's all right, Sarah.
It was great chatting though. I'll listen to the rest of the podcast when it drops.
Right on.
Cool.
Okay, bye.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
We can edit Sarah in, right?
Yeah. I'll just have her in there, like get little nods and like, you know, just put it in the bottom. Have her just nod along everything you say. Easy.
Yeah, just like one of these.
Yeah. Just like all the Dylan quips, you know, just have Sarah say a few of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we got some more audience questions here. This one, they asked the same thing to Cooper. It says, Andrew, why did you leave Megan out of the vote at the final 8?
Yeah. Final 8. Let's see. We thought we misread the room is what happened, because we thought Leia was voting with us and we had 4. And I don't know how it got to this point, but everyone seemed to know in the game that Megan had no idea where to vote. Like, it was common knowledge there were 7 people playing, which never happens. But I don't know how we got to that point. We did. We felt like we were in on this plan, and we said, okay, if we tell Megan what's the upside and what's the downside. The upside that we thought was there is we get a 5th vote and it's 5-3. But let's say she does something and votes with the other group of 3. It's still a 4-4 vote, and Bailey's never going to rocks for Megan, so it's just never going to happen. And then upside or downside, people were still under the impression that Megan and Ada and AJ were still close. So people thought, and everyone thought there was a chance AJ had an idol because he had played the other one so early in the game. People just thought he might have it. So we thought there was a chance that Megan would tell AJ.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why.
Mess up. Basically, if you say AJ's getting the votes, Megan could tell AJ could play the idol.
Exactly. And then the plan changes again. It was just everyone wanted to walk in, and everyone thought the thing that no one knew is Bree wanted AJ out, and if we had circulated it and it had gotten out, it would have been a done deal.
Yeah, that's something
that was the part we missed.
It's not very well known. Like I was allies with Bree, and I didn't know that. Like I thought that he was like totally on board with like working with Adam. So that also confused me.
Yeah, it was that was confusing watching that back for sure.
I mean, yeah, it kind of goes along with that other question someone was asking. Is like they kind of like assumed that like they were like, oh, like Megan's arguably your only true and loyal ally, like, which definitely, I mean, you have Cooper and Bailey were both like shown to be very close allies of yours, but like what was your relationship with Megan like throughout the game?
We were on the bottom together, and we had very different strategies while we were on the bottom, because mine was just don't get voted out. It means all you have to do is really kind of don't do a lot. And then because I had this idol in my pocket, I had people around me that I thought were more likely to get voted out than I was. Sarah, Kevin, Megan, Jackson, right? So I just I thought, okay, I'm in a pretty good spot here, because if I'm going to get voted out, Cooper's going to tip me off and I'm going to be fine. So all I have to do is make it a few more votes, and then I'm in the money, and people are going to need my vote, right? I think Megan was more in survival. I mean, so I was more on the side of let everyone else kind of try and make the move. Don't put yourself out there or get busted. And Megan, I don't think was much like that. So I didn't talk with Megan all that much about strategy, just because we were in different spots. And it's funny because I think everyone else worked with Jackson because they wanted to work with Megan. They found out his voting block. I did the same thing, but totally opposite of everyone else. I wanted to work with Megan because she was with Jackson. And I go, no one wants to work with Jackson. I'll work with Jackson. Now I get to work with Jackson, and Jackson has another vote. This is great.
So it was like you did kind of have like you and Jackson did kind of have like a nice little alliance there.
Yeah, well, I think it was more or less that we just both knew that neither of us had a good chance to. Neither of us had a good feeling for all the different relationships in the game like other people did.
Yeah,
it was just a general understanding, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like the two of you, pulled off that Jesse blindside like together.
That was fun.
It was a pretty big move. Yeah,
that was fun.
blew
Yeah,
up the
I think
game.
it's so funny. We have 2 people in the season that vote themselves out of the game. Like, it's hysterical. And Jackson was one of them.
That's true. They're both season 4. Arguably, you could say 3 if you say that Megan technically did by telling Cooper he was going home.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. I was probably still giving him the necklace, so I don't know if that really impacted it.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting because I like honestly never really understood what happened at the final 8. Like before everything blew up, like what was your plan for that week?
I wanted to have options, which is why I didn't tell Cooper anything. What I was considering doing is hanging Cooper out to dry and leaving him alone and giving the necklace to Megan. And then that would allow me to then play an idol on him, on Cooper. And then he'd be just a vote magnet, so I could vote out whoever I wanted.
Yeah.
So I was considering that. That's probably how I would have done it if I were going to do that. So I don't know. That's where I was either do that, and then this plan drops into my lap to vote AJ out. I go, oh, this is great. And didn't, because I didn't think Leia was going to lie to both Bailey and Cooper, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Because, like, in the scenario that AJ goes out and you get to hold on to your idol, then you get to have, like, all of your allies in, plus, like, you're keeping your idol.
I am in amazing shape if that happens. Amazing shape.
Yeah.
And part of why I ended up voting for Leia in the end is I felt like she beat me. And that's one of the reasons I felt like she specifically beat me because from my, you know what I mean? No disrespect.
No. I mean, like, Leia, I could have very easily seen a world where she won the game because she played.
Yeah. But that's why Bailey votes for you, too, is because she felt like she wanted you out the entire time, couldn't do it. You beat her.
Yeah.
You know, it's how people
perceive it. Leia had a similar, like, respect for you, too. Like, it kind of showed that in the finale. Like, we were both sort of saying, like, similar things about each other. But you kind of, like, you never really worked together, but you had, like, a mutual respect for, like, how each other were playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'd say the only conversations I had with Leia previous to her duping me was her sitting down with me and me and her either going, "You're going to vote me out. I'm going to vote you out," or us being like, "So we're not voting with each other this round, right? Okay, not this round. So maybe next time. Okay, maybe next time."
Yeah.
Like those were legit conversations. The reason why you don't see us talking ever is those are the conversations we had.
Yeah, just completely straightforward. I mean, like, I kind of like when they're like, I feel like I had a few of those conversations in the game, and I kind of like the ones that were just like, no bullshitting, just like, we're not working together, like, you know, no need to spin some like crazy story for like, oh no, actually, we'll do this week, like.
Yeah. Oh, this is so funny. I don't know if I may have told you this. I may have not. I was a little while ago going back through GroupMe messages. I think it was GroupMe. And then there's a message from you on October 28th, which is my birthday. And it's very much game related.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Andrew.
Oh,
yeah. I respond it, and then you just ghost me.
Wow.
And then there's another message weeks later. I mean, I'm talking weeks. Yeah. And that was the first time you and I had talked, like, quote unquote game at all. Was you just texting me and not wishing me happy birthday and being like, want to meet up, and then us not meeting.
That's brutal. That is brutal. I mean, happy belated birthday, 4 years late. You know, just letting you know. But honestly, like, with
inflation, my gift better be good.
Oh, I know. It's like a few years coming. Inflation the last 4 years pretty much doubled. Yeah. Probably. But no, it is the thing. I feel like the two of us, like, I want to say the first, like, time we had sat down and had a conversation was probably like final 6.
No, like, it was final 9.
Final 9. Okay, yeah, that's true. That was like very, very brief. Yeah,
cool. Because Cooper did most of the legwork that week, and then we had talked beforehand. It was a short conversation. Then we talked in the hallway also, and I remember I looked I was like looking at you, trying to gauge, is he telling me the truth?
Yeah.
Is he actually going to vote with me? He's kind of wanted me out the entire game. Then also hasn't talked to me once. So I got to try and figure out if he's telling me the truth.
Yeah. No, it's funny because like I remember like we went and we had that conversation, and then like I came out of it and I was like went to like whatever Leia and like Bailey was like, oh, like such a brutal conversation. Like he's about to get voted off. Had to like lie and like tell him I was working with him this week, and then just like vote off Emily.
Yeah. Oh, you said Emily said that?
No, I was like saying that to like whatever Bailey, them like, oh yeah, like, just had to lie to Andrew. I just told him I'm working with him. Like obviously it's all fake. Like poor guy just gets blindsided. Yeah.
The piece of gold that got captured from that week was Emily into my face being like, sorry, good game, and then give me an awkward hug. It was amazing that got captured.
He's telling you good game.
Yeah. I gotta drop in a little bit here. Let's rapid fire off some questions if we have any in the chamber. Let's go rapid fire through a few.
Rapid fire through the rest of them here. All right. So you kind of answered this one. How would you have played Final Five differently to save yourself?
Pull Brie off to the side and figure out where she's voting. Alternatively, what I considered after the fact too was just lying and being like, Bailey gave me a legacy advantage.
Oh, okay.
That would have been crafty. I had considered. I didn't think it was going to be me, so I didn't prepare for that. If I had a little more heads up, I might have tried to pull that and been like, I have an extra vote. It also works in a revote. We're going to Rocks, and then try and convince people to vote for Cooper to force me into Rocks if they wanted me out.
That would have been good.
That would have been fun. That was the more fun one I made up in my head.
Yeah. That's nice. Now this is another idol question. Did you consider playing your idol at that vote that Lucy went home? Like, let's say Cooper doesn't give you that legacy, whatever.
Oh, I'm playing it.
Yeah.
I'm playing 100% because what had happened that week is so brutal to watch because I'm pretty sure the conversation I had with Lucy filmed, and the conversation that I have with Leia filmed. And then the conversation with Lucy is her saying, I'm going to vote Leia out. I go, this is great. I don't have to do much. And then Leia and I don't even meet up until a couple hours before tribal. She goes, I'm voting for you. I go, yeah, I'm probably voting for you too. And then I'm like, wait a second. It's so weird that she's confident. So I start talking to Lucy, and Lucy goes, yeah, I'm going to write your name down. So I knew votes wid coming my way.
See, Lucy should have, if Lucy had lied, she should have not told you that she was voting for you.
Yeah, did not play a strategically optimal game there.
Yeah.
So yeah, answer overall, yes, I play it no matter what if I don't have that.
And if you did, would you have tried to idol out Leia or Lucy?
I don't know. I would have done. Because the whole reason I was voting for Leia is I thought I could get her out with Lucy. So I don't know. There's a chance Cooper influences me to not do that, to be honest with you. Because I'm like,
let's see what best
who's going to do more blowback. Yeah. Because I mean, at the time, also people were worried about your alliance, also. So Lucy would have been against the number for you. I don't know. I can't say.
Yeah. All right. Another one. Is there anyone you wish you worked with more or less?
Not really. I think if I put in more legwork with Brie, I would have had a better chance to win. Not really. I mean, I think that overall the game I played was pre-merge pretty good. Didn't really make any mistakes. Merge. I wish I worked with more closely Nick. I could have warned him. If I knew he had an idol, I'm obviously telling him about it. So I wish I'd worked more closely with Nick. It's probably about it.
Makes sense. Yeah, I felt the same way about Nick.
He's so dangerous as a player too. I think I had a confessional in there somewhere where I said he just knows what's going on no matter what's happening. He has a good feel for the game.
Yeah, he does.
And you can't replicate that. And at least my thought process was, if I have Nick with me, I'm just going to know what's going on the entire time. He'll just tell me. Then I'll know what's up. Yeah, exactly. Perfect person to be close with. I don't think you want to be on the. You don't want to be on Nick's wrong side. If you take a swing at Nick, you want to hit. You want to make sure you land it.
Yeah, I agree.
Credit to you and AJ.
Definitely. I mean, I was afraid of him being on the bottom because I had to play against him on the bottom season 2, and he perceived everything. Have a couple more here. Do you agree that you were the golden boy of Survivor Michigan?
I think that I get a good edit because Ian's the editor and Ian and I are cool. Am I golden boy? Cooper's the golden boy. Also, Ian bias for sure. Am I the golden? I don't know. I think the rocks thing, I just get a better edit than I normally would, just because there's some sort of narrative that wouldn't otherwise be there. I think otherwise I kind of fall into obscurity, and it just happens to be something that's referenced as one of the hallmark moments for Survivor as a season, because there's not many times people go to rocks.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think sometimes I get a little bit of the benefit of it out there. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's not like it's manufactured that the jury wanted you to win. You know what I mean? Like, they wanted you to win.
Maybe.
You gotta do something there. I guess that's the next question. Did you know a lot of people on the jury wanted you to win?
Yeah, I had a good feel for that, because I felt like there were a couple people I knew. I'm like, if they're there, I'm getting their votes.
Yeah.
At least this is how I perceived it. Bailey's vote I felt like was an absolute lock. I felt like Megan's vote was not a lock, but pretty good shot I get that vote. I felt like Kevin's vote was a lock. I felt like Lucy's vote was a lock. Like, I felt like I was gonna have 4 votes no matter what going into Final Tribal Council. The way I thought is I have to steal 1 or 2 to win. That's it.
Yeah. So have a good speech, good Final Tribal. That's all you need.
There was also, I felt like there weren't a lot of votes I didn't have a chance at. I felt like there were 2 total votes I had no chance at getting. I didn't think I was going to get Sarah's vote. I wasn't going to get AJ's vote.
Wait,
everything else I thought was up for grabs.
I think you could. Why do you think you could have got Sarah's vote?
She was very salty that people wanted to vote her out ahead of me, and she couldn't understand why. Because the way she perceived it was everyone wanted her out because of the Jesse vote, and I just kind of didn't get run over by the bus. Yeah. So I don't know. I just didn't feel like I had a good chance at winning her vote. I thought she was salty about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
Makes sense. Another question on what was it? Oh yeah, Final 7. I feel like you playing your idol there was like
waste.
It was I don't know. I mean, definitely it was a 2-2-2-1. Who knows? You probably would have been safe, but what? When did you decide to play it there?
Going in, I thought I was going to play it because I had no way of knowing Bree wasn't going to vote with you. I was confused when I knew I didn't have to play it. That made no sense to me. The vote 2-2-2-1. I mean, come on.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, because I would have been safe if I didn't play it. There's just no way for me to anticipate that vote split. So I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it would have been a weird one. You didn't play it, then there'd be a revote between you, Leia, and AJ. That me, Bree, Bailey, and Cooper vote between. That would have been weird.
Yeah, it would have been really weird.
But yeah, I mean, also if Bree votes for you there, then you just would go home. I mean, there's also a scenario that happened. We decided minutes before that the 3 of us are voting for you, and Bree just didn't go with the plan. I don't blame you all for playing it there, but I also was just hoping that there's enough confusion, or you thought that enough people were flipping that you wouldn't play it, and then you just did. And I was like, okay.
Do you think I had it though?
I was I remember for a while, and this actually kind of is what you were saying earlier, how you were acting cocky, kind of part of strategy to make people think a little bit, and I was always worried maybe he does have an idol, and then so it also made it so that people were kind of hesitant to write your name down because there's always suspicion you could have an idol. And that's kind of what happened at that vote, where Bree was kind of sure that you had an idol. And I was at that point, I was if he does, either he does or he does. I don't know. At that point, it was just kind of who else could have it? I didn't have it. I didn't think that any of my allies had it. like either it was like you or like whatever Bailey, I guess. So there was like I thought that maybe you could, but I was like if he does, then like maybe he just won't play it, and like there's no proof that he does have it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Bree was kind of confident you did though.
Good read.
Yeah, it was. Another final
Let's
question.
go last question here.
Last question.
Last
Good
question.
one.
Run it.
All right. Did Cooper not paying the ticket legitimately weaken your alliance?
No, it was friendly rivalry.
Yeah.
Friendly rivalry still gets discussed to this day between my house and his. Lots of it's funny we have some of it on films. We can actually reference it, which is fun, but it's still debated hotly to this day.
Debated hotly to this day.
Yes.
You think the history will side with you in your house?
What was that?
You think the history will side with you in this one?
I think so. I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean,
It's all out there.
I feel very strongly that it was his fault.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. I feel good. I got everything off my chest.
Perfect.
I don't have anything else.
Great talking to you, Crouch. And
Let's get an outtake. What's the outtake here?
what's the outtake? I mean, I don't know. Great seeing you.
I'll see you this Saturday.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know if this episode is going to get out, but plug to the OSU Michigan game, Survivor on Saturday.
Yeah, tune in tomorrow. Yep.
5:13. Tune in.
Ohio State. Fuck Ohio.
We are live.
It'll be.
I'll see you at Final Tribal.
Yes, sir. I'll see you there.
Cool.
Nice
All
chatting.
right.